My name is Nina. I am your moderator for this evening, and I have the pleasure of having a co-moderator tonight, and his name is Ashok. Hi,
Hello,
Ashok.
Nina.
Hi. Okay, Ashok is an intern with us. He's been with us for the last 2 months, and he's the brave soul today who said, I'll co-moderate with you, and he is moderating with me before his last month. So nice to have you with us, Ashok, to moderate.
Thank you, Nina. So can I know, before we start, how's everyone doing? So can I have a thumbs up in the chat box, please?
Can we get a thumbs up, a reaction? Come on, keep that energy up. Yes, that's good.
Yeah.
Okay, Sandra's good. Aisha's good. Thiru's good. What about everyone else? Dorothy's good. Wonderful. No other reactions? Come on, guys. Let's keep that energy. All right. Who is 3E, Ashok?
So 3E is everyone's empowerment partner, where we empower people by engaging their talents to engage the company's productivity and profitability. It equates to people's development and also productivity improvement.
That's right. We are your empower partner, whether it's for yourself, whether it's for the team, whether it's for your leader, whether it's for your organization. We are the go-to person. Now, what is Interactive Platform?
So it's a platform or an avenue to interact and do networking. We started this during the pandemic, as we can all remember, when we were all stuck at home. We did fortnightly talks either in the form of a workshop, quick talk, or a demo, and it's absolutely free.
And free it is. And we started back in 2021. Today we are in our 40th session. So we've come a long way from database management, delicious discards, empowering games. We've done yoga sessions. We've done dementia talks. We've done on mental health for teens. So we've done a whole range of topics. And so today, in this 40th session, we are very happy that all of you could join us.
So these are the social media platforms that we are in, as you can see in the screen presented above. So to keep tracks on our events and talks like this, please do follow us on our social media platforms. And today we are streaming live on Facebook.
So for those of you on Facebook, hello and welcome. And if you have any comments, do share it on the comments on Facebook, and our tech personnel will help us put it into the Zoom room. All right. Moving along, our housekeeping. So thank you for those of you who have come on time. Please do mute yourself so that we don't interrupt the whole Zoom room. Turn on your videos, and I thank those of you who have turned on your videos. Nice to see you all. Come here prepared with a pen and notepad. Find a quiet place, but most of all, have fun. Today's topic is on emotional intelligence at the workplace. So with a show of hands from everyone on the floor, how many of you know what emotional intelligence is or have heard about it? An inkling? Yes, some of you are glad our speaker knows. Anyone else? No? Okay. It is the key to career success. So the whole point today is about understanding how emotional intelligence transforms relationships. How do you manage that stress management at the office, with the workplace, with colleagues, right? We're talking about different personalities. We're talking about different communication styles, and it's all at the workplace. So basically, it's a family away from your family, right? And so we have to learn about that. So the speaker for today, Ashok, is
Daniel Gonzaga. So he is a certified EQ practitioner, and also we can say an assessor, who brings knowledge to help us to unlock our true EQ. Moreover, he is a transformational leader who empowers individuals and also teams. Finally, he is the president of the Malaysian Association of Facilitators, as he is dedicated to unlocking our potential and driving excellence.
Driving excellence is definitely it. So without further ado, Daniel Gonzaga, the floor is yours. Hi, Daniel.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Yeah, thanks for. I want to see everyone's faces as far as possible. First and foremost, I'd like to thank 3E for this opportunity just to be here. Oh, you pinned me. Okay, hi, everyone. I thought there was a really big picture of myself on the video. But if you don't mind, I like to see everyone's faces before you pin me later. I'd like to thank 3E for this really great opportunity to share with us emotional intelligence. And it's also a topic close to my heart because I learned emotional intelligence when I was a young kid, looking at my mother managing her emotions. And so what we're going to be doing is, I have slides, but I'm not a slide person. But we'll talk around number one, what is it? Why is it important? And I know that the theme says at the workplace, but you can use emotional intelligence in your family, in your community, with your friends. When you're at the mama stall having teh tarik, can is everyone able to understand Bahasa Malaysia just in case? Can lah. Okay, teh tarik. It's all about how do we manage those emotions that sometimes can have the better of us and sometimes it can have the worst of us. So let me bring up my slides, and I must click share sound, which I have. And I think you should be able to see my slides right now. Yes? Okay, great. Right now, let's have a check-in. And it's minion time. And you have 6 minions right now sharing all kinds of emotions. What I would like us to do is, if you're in the Zoom room, just unmute yourself and share which number minion you are. But you could also put in the number in the chat box. And for our friends on Facebook Live, please use the chat in Facebook to kind of look at which mood are you feeling today, which minion mood. And could someone help me look at the chats in the platforms and just read it out to me as we do that?
Kala is feeling minion number 2.
Number 2.
Sandra is feeling number 1.
Oh, okay. Yay!
So far we got 2.
Excellent. Do we have anyone on Facebook Live?
Another person, Dorothy Steven, is feeling number 5. Dennis is feeling number 2.
Excellent. We got 5.
There's one more here, Tiru, 2.5. Then he
2.5. In minions, we don't believe in the 2 point. But never mind. I'll take it anyway. We got a
Sundresh is feeling number 5.
Sundresh is feeling number 5. Woohoo!
Nina is feeling number 2.
Number 2. Excellent. Anyone else on Facebook Live?
Our tech support. Is there any response from Facebook?
No, we don't.
Yeah.
Okay. Excellent. Well, if you haven't put your number in, go ahead, put it in the chat box. Because the first thing about emotions is every emotion is good. There is no bad emotions. Emotions are just emotions for us. And, with regards to these emotions, it can help us, number one, create great relationships. It can save relationships. It can create and help the bottom line of the organization, as long as we acknowledge those feelings. And so the concept of emotional intelligence is pretty simple. It's like math intelligence, your mathematics intelligence. How does that help us? It helps us with numbers and making those numbers to be more accurate and effective. Emotional intelligence helps us with our feelings. And I like, with the minions, it's always a safe space to name and number the emotions in which you're feeling. And so I want to thank everyone for that quick check-in. Um, so, emotional intelligence, or EQ, emotional quotient, as it was called before, is about being smarter with our feelings. I'm going to play a video in a short while, and what I would like us to do is to kind of listen to this video. It's based in a workplace setting, but I would also like you to think about, besides my workplace, how does this relate? What can I learn about emotional intelligence with my relationships, my family, my community, my friends? So I'm going to play the video. Mhm. Oops, I just lost my cursor. Okay, so here we go. And thumbs up if you can hear the video.
That's a great question. I mean, for lots of years, when we talked about EQ, lots of leaders said, well, yes, it's a touchy-feely thing. We are business oriented. We are not interested in such a thing. And what we have to say now is that in the reality, when we are living like today, turbulent times with a very huge pressure on the emotional side, with lots of uncertainty, well, we need to have the rational skill, but at the same time, the emotional skill. Because what we know is that the emotional side has a huge impact on the rational side. And so if we want to have better performance, we need to use both at the same time the emotional and the rational paradigm. And it's not a theory, it's how people really work. And it's important to consider it. And let me share a case. This year, in 2013, we had the opportunity to publish an incredible case, the Amadori case. Amadori case is about an Italian company, Amadori. Amadori was one of the, and is one of the most important supplier of McDonald's in Europe. And in this case, it's clear the impact of emotional intelligence on the bottom line result. First of all, EQ, it's a predictor of performance. We know that EQ predicts more or less half of the performance of a person. So if you are a leader, your emotional intelligence will give you the opportunity to obtain better results. Second, we know that the higher the emotional intelligence, the higher the engagement inside the plant. In the Amadori case, is incredibly clear this finding. And we have seen that the plants with a higher emotional intelligence in leaders creates a higher engagement in people. And third, and probably most important from a business perspective, where you have a higher engagement of people, you have better bottom line results. Well, I think it's time to say that emotional intelligence is not something nice to have, but it's something we have to consider if you want to stay at the edge of innovation and performance.
Right. So let me just stop share and kind of look at number one. Let's take about 2 minutes to reflect on what is 1 to 2 points from this video that would you think would be relevant for your work, for your business, or even link it to your community and friends. Yeah, what would be the most 1 to 2 relevant points that you learned from this video for you? Let's take about 1.5 to 2 minutes to reflect. Okay, let's have a look. Did I see something in the chat box? Would
Let's
anyone like to share for my tech support? What's in the chat box?
Dorothy, would you like to switch your mic on and share?
Yeah, where's Dorothy? Hi, Dorothy.
No, Dorothy?
Yeah. Hi, everyone.
Hi.
Hi.
Okay, basically, what I understand, emotional intelligence is like something referring to the ability to recognize or to understand not only like us, like ourselves, but also people surrounding us, and also managing them effectively according to the emotion. Sometimes it doesn't make sense for us, but it is for them because the situation is such. Like when we are dealing with that, we need to have like some sort of skills and competencies, so that that can relate, or can, by that we can able to assist or handle the situation. So in my opinion, I feel like when we are into the emotional intelligence, we need to have like some sort of self-awareness as well for ourselves, so that we can able to handle the situation when it arises during our surrounding, regardless if it's in a family situation or in a workplace or even anywhere it could be, so that it can impact in a good way, rather than like we trigger them in a bad manner, so that everyone affected by that, by emotion. So we need to understand the strength and weaknesses, and also behavior, so that it can be handled very well. And also the self-regulation, so that the capacity, like in that particular moment, the capacity that we have, that we can able to utilize that to handle or to manage the situation, rather than we go beyond that. Or maybe we thought like we can able to handle, but end of the day it become more challenging and stressful for us, or we make the situation even go worse. So it is important for us to understand the capacity also, the stability or the adaptability before we react to that EI actually. That's what I
Thank you, Dorothy. And I like the way you mentioned, self-awareness and social awareness about understanding oneself, as well as understanding the social surroundings in which we are in, such that we are able to identify certain emotions that are taking place. Well done. Okay, I also have in the chat, thank you, Sandra. EQ is not something that is nice to have. It's a must have if you want to be successful and have a good life. Absolutely. I mean, years ago, I remember being in an organization which said, we don't want the soft skills kind of thing. We need technical skills, we need hard skills, we need skills that can bring in and touch the meat, the bottom line, only to find out today it's not just about our technical skills. It's about how do we use our people skills to get the work done and to meet business needs. Thank you. I also have Arka. Hi, Arka. Understanding emotion through social interaction. Absolutely, Arka. If you're on the Zoom platform, would you like to unmute yourself and kind of explain what you just mentioned, Arka? Oh, okay.
Hi, Arka. You can unmute yourself.
Yeah. And to unmute, you go to the bottom left-hand corner and you will see mute or unmute. You just click it and you can just speak into the mic. Well, if you don't, it's all right. You could be having dinner as well. Let's have one more other person. Let's have Thiru. Hi, Thiru. I could see you smiling from there. I
Hi.
don't know if you were going to
Eh,
share or not.
Yeah,
but go
yeah.
ahead.
Thanks, Daniel. While I was listening to the gentleman speak, maybe you'll answer the question later as part of your program. The question that arose was while he said the leaders need to have EQ, as you are aware that now for recruitment, not now, it's been around for a long time, assessment centers are used to assess potential recruits. I mean, is EQ one of the measures, or just elaborate on that sometime
Yeah,
now or
sure.
later?
I would love to, Thiru. And I think it's a very important point because the father of emotional intelligence is basically Daniel Goleman. And he did a study years ago with regards to working with emotional intelligence at the workplace. It's a brilliant book if you can't see. Anyway, over the last 1.5 years, Daniel Goleman has done more research and linked it to assessment centers. How do we assess for the holistic person rather than just for certain skills, competence, and technical expertise? And one of the things he found from his research was how do not just leaders, but managers and people on the job, how do they manage their emotions such that they can be more productive on the job? And so, yes, he's actually linked it to like an assessment center where we assess the whole person as much as possible. I mean, we're not going to assess spiritual intelligence or any kind of those higher intelligence, but no, what we're looking at is at the workplace, our aptitude as well as our attitude needs to come hand in hand together.
Thank you.
Excellent. And yes, go ahead.
Daniel, we have Arka who's elaborated in the chat box. So she says, understanding emotions through social interaction. I mean, through interacting and social communication and communication process. We should be aware of emotions of other people in society, also our own emotions as well.
Excellent. Thank you, Arka. And that's actually a summary of the first two emotional intelligence model, right? Awareness, individual awareness, and social awareness. And how do we then link that to a relationship management as well as self-regulation? And we're going to touch on that in a short while as well. But thank you so much, everyone. So let me just quickly go back to my slide to look at where we are at. So as a quick recap, and you guys mentioned this, I loved it, the conversations just now. It's really, EI is all about consciously choosing our thoughts, feelings, and actions to create optimal relationships with ourselves and others. That's what it's all about. And this is what Daniel Goleman, Jens Swins from 6 Seconds, the emotional intelligence company, had looked at in terms of a simple definition of emotional intelligence. And seriously, I can only talk about or share about emotional intelligence from within me to the people out within my circle of influence or my people of circle of in my circle. Excuse me. So now let's have a quick look at the business model, which most of you were talking about earlier. And it all starts with, am I aware of all the emotions that are taking place? In fact, if you look at Lao Tzu, I hope I pronounced that person's name right, or if you look at most of the thought leaders in the world today, the first thing they look at is not what is outside, but what is inside. What's happening inside of me? And then we have a look at, now that I'm aware of myself, what's my social awareness? What are the people that are around me going through? What are they experiencing? And I would like to plant this seed in our minds as we go along in this journey of emotional intelligence. Do you ever remember a leader or a manager in your organizations who, when this person, she or he, walked into a room, they were able to know what the emotions were? Just take about 30 seconds. Remember a person or a leader, a loved one, who could walk into a room and almost immediately know what's happening in the room. You know, in business terms, we say they can measure the temperature of the room. Yeah, I see some people smiling. And there are also some leaders who have absolutely no idea. They come in and they throw a joke and everyone gets even more angry or heated, and it just doesn't connect. Social awareness. And we also have relationship awareness or relationship management, as Daniel Goleman calls it in his latest research. How do we manage, or how do we work through emotions and emotions within relationships such that we can enhance it, make it better, save the relationship, or even have a relationship that is a win-win for both you and me? And the last one is self-management, or as in the book Working with Emotional Intelligence, we call it self-regulation. Self-management is all about, how do I know what's inside and be able to predict not just my triggers, but know when not to pull the trigger or pinch the trigger. And how do I regulate all those emotions within me? So within self, you have on your left hand side of the screen, within others on your right hand side, working with others. But it doesn't stop there, because in terms of across that model, we can recognize ourselves as well as social awareness, and regulate our relationship management as well as ourselves in terms of emotions. It's a nice model to look at, simple model to look at with regards to elements of emotional intelligence. Now, I wish I could, but I could take about 3 days just working through. Yeah, don't worry, I won't take 3 days. You will leave by sharp 9. But it's about understanding this model that, you know, if you do come for that 1-day program, and I hope all of you do, it's about practicing, applying, and cutting down an action plan to work around that model. This model is a highlight of one of the 1-day program. Yeah, but I'm going to touch on a few as we go along. Do I have any questions? Hi guys, my tech support, Ashok, Nina. Do we have anything on Facebook Live chat and Zoom Live? Zoom Live pula, Zoom chat.
Zoom chat, nothing at the moment. Ashok, am I right?
Yeah, there's nothing at. Wait, there is one. No, there's nothing at the moment.
Okay. Yeah, well, we do.
Just a quick one. Sorry, Daniel. Just a quick one.
Go ahead. Yeah.
If I may ask, of these 4, which ones do you, in your experience, do people find trouble managing?
Oh wow! You know, I was going to ask that question later on.
Oh,
but
okay,
I
never
think-
mind.
No, Ashok, it's
can do
okay.
it.
I like the way the group dictates where they want to go. So, no way is the way, and wisdom from within. And that's actually a great question, Ashok, that we would like to have the participants, the people in the rooms, and on Facebook Live, kind of look at, where do people struggle with? Any comments, or would anyone like to unmute yourself if you're on the Zoom room and share?
Anyone? No? Nor at the, I see a person by the name of Nor. Would you like to share? Which is the most difficult for yourself?
For yourself, or even in your experience working with others? And I think that's the question Ashok alluded to. Yeah.
Thiru.
Sorry, Tiru. My apology. I can't see everyone's face.
Yes.
But thanks, Tiru.
Let's ask Thiru, what about for him? What's the most impactful or least impactful or most difficult?
Really, I'm trying to understand, Nina. That's why I asked the question.
And maybe if I may try to answer that question.
Yeah.
You know, Thiru, working with a large number of people in the realm of emotional intelligence, it comes from all four key areas. You know, there are some people, leaders I have found, who struggle just being aware of themselves, because their mind and their whole being is all about business, bringing in the business, hitting bottom line, achieving goals. And then when they go home, they are just so zonked out that they don't take time to reflect. I facilitated conversations with social communities or associations where, you know, everyone just, I wouldn't say doesn't care, but they're just not aware of each other's emotions or what people are going through. And just the other day I was with an organization, and you know, after the whole team, it was a team from a various department in that organization that did a group dynamics team building session. And at the half a day group dynamic session, the leader of the department actually looked and said, we have worked with each other for close to 10 years, and I never knew about this person going through a hard time. Or I did not know that one of my colleagues was actually struggling with anger management. And I could not understand why he would get very angry in certain meetings and he would bang the table and walk out. So, social awareness. I've also had people struggle with relationship management and how do we regulate those emotions to maximize and enhance relationships with others, you know. And then the question one leader asked me was, I don't know why people don't take me seriously. And it was staring her right in the face, you know, when she was having that session with me. And after about 45 minutes, she goes, oh my goodness, is this what I've been doing with my team members and the people around me? And self-management, self-regulation, as we call it. You know, I was going to ask the group, have you ever done something, either in the family or you have said something at the workplace, and after you did it, like almost immediately or a few minutes later, you went, I regret for saying that. Why in the world did I say that? Why in the world did I take my letter of resignation and throw it at my boss, as someone did? A number of people did, you know. I don't know. You don't need to share if you're willing to, great. But if not, just a nod of the head or a thumbs up would be good enough.
Yes, very,
Oh.
very much.
Very, very much. Okay. You know, I was just with having a conversation with a couple, boyfriend, girlfriend, in their early, I think it was in the mid 20s, you know, and they were thinking of getting married. And almost immediately the husband went, I mean the boyfriend went, I don't know why, every time she brings up my car keys, I get very upset. I just like putting it on the table, but she must put it on the keyhole, which is on the wall. And then I must look for it. What is this? And for the life of me, for 15 minutes, they were fighting about the infamous car keys. Self-regulation. So, Thiru, to answer your question I don't know if I've answered it.
Very good. Great detailed explanation, Daniel. Thank you.
Yeah, you have to look at it from a holistic perspective. Look at where your areas of strength are on this model. And we all will have areas of development or our blind sides or blind spots, as we call it. If the blind spots don't affect us, great, as Daniel Goleman says. But if the blind spots do affect us and our relationships with each other, then there is something you might want to take notice of. Brilliant. Oh, I love the questions. Yes, someone? Did I? Oh, is that?
Actually, if I can just give some input, we can't really control how someone behaves, etc. Say, for example, in a family setting or even at work.
Yeah.
However, if we can identify their emotions, where they're coming from, like what you're mentioning just now, but then, when you look at it, how many people would like to sit down and rationalize or even want to find out what's actually going on? If I may share a little bit, if you don't mind. Like in my former workplace, I've had instances where teachers will just, get into a situation whereby they begin to share things, out of their frustration, etc. But sometimes they may go a little bit beyond. And then, when we look at ourselves in the position that we are at, or whatever position that we may be having, to not look at what is being portrayed on the outward, but taking time to see what's actually going on. And frankly speaking, in the world today, this is what we need. To be able to empathize, to be able to understand, so that we, in an organization, we can come together and work together as a team, understanding each other and where they're coming at. I mean, somebody could be coming to work today and, they just don't want to talk to anyone because something has happened. But how many of us are willing to, hey, what's up? Want to talk about it? See, so honestly, this is what we need today.
Yeah. And Denise, I'm guessing you're from the teaching profession. Am I right in saying that?
I
or
am principal of the school.
Principal. Okay, excellent. That is the distinction between a good teacher and a great teacher. That is the distinction between a teacher who just walks into class and starts teaching, as compared to a teacher who walks into the class, looks at the class and goes, I know who are the students who are having a bad day, bad week, bad month. And most of these great teachers have a way of, well, let's work with the students first. They have a great way of drawing out. So they are not digging information from the child or the student, sorry, but they are just drawing out. They are letting the student say what they want to say in a safe space without being judged. And then you have the other side to the teaching profession where, I remember years ago, teachers don't want to talk about how they feel because they might be looked at as a useless teacher, can't even handle emotions. And one of the struggles that I think lady teachers had was, aren't emotions strong enough to make us great teachers? Because all the men who were teachers were saying, oh, you got to manage your emotions, you got to, you cannot cry, it's a sign of weakness, or you cannot say how you feel because you will be looked upon as someone who is weak. But 6 seconds, the emotional intelligence company that has been doing research over this whole topic for about 28 to 30 years, today find that in the education field, the teachers who are able to identify and name the emotions of what they are feeling actually are great teachers and become even better when they're able to self-regulate it. So you're absolutely right. Not just in Malaysia, but I think even globally. But if I was to focus on Southeast Asia, the teaching profession is at a crossroads. Do we take the road that everyone has traveled and go with emotions are useless, weak, and you don't even need to talk about emotions? Or do we take the road less traveled, where we can name the emotions, and if we are able to name it, we can shame it? Or we can identify not just the emotion, but the triggers the emotions bring. Not just for the teachers, but for their profession, as well as the most important people, our students. I'm sorry, our pula, their students. And we also have another huge group of people called the parents, which I'm not going to touch on now. And so I think I'm just going to go to this slide, if you allow me, also looking at time, which is Pulczyk's model for emotions. And you can find this diagram, literally this whole diagram, on Google. You can Google search it. Nina, I don't know if it would be wise if you want to PDF it and send it to all the participants who have registered for it, because this is key for them, for us, where Pulczyk did a lot of work years ago, and till today his model still stands, where if you look at the second outer circle, what he looks at is a number of emotions where there are key emotions. And these are the primary emotions of joy, trust, fear, surprise, sadness, disgust, anger, anticipation. And what he says is, the further away from that you go, it's less intense, the emotion. The closer you go to the inner wheel, the greater the intensity of those emotions. And so, have you ever had a time, I'm asking everyone now, have you ever had a time where you said to I said it to myself, I really don't know how I'm feeling right now. I don't know if you have said it. I've said it a number of times, and you are looking at this social emotional intelligence. Thank you, Nina and Ashok, for that lovely opening for me. I have said it like last week. I have no idea what I'm experiencing. I have no idea what's my emotions right now. And one of the things I do is I bring up the Pulczyk's wheel, and I look at myself, and I'm looking at the wheel, and I'm going, where am I on this wheel? And the moment I identify with it, I go, I get it. I know exactly how I'm feeling, and I can name that emotion. And I'm talking about when you're naming that emotion in self-awareness, it will create a huge shift from what's happening inside just by being able to name it. Now, there's a lot more that takes place in that one-day program, which we can cover. But yeah, I'll take any questions from the Pulczyk wheel.
Are there any questions from the floor or even in chat?
Shoot, I have 10 more minutes. Don't worry about the time. I won't say I have all the time in the world because 3E needs to go back and sleep. The TE team, they've been working day in, day out. But let's have some conversations or questions around the full chick wheel. Anyone? So that's a virtual 30 seconds, no answer. Okay, so if you do have, you can write it to 3E and get, or even get in touch with me through 3E, and then I'll gladly support you all. But this is a killer slide where we have so many emotions going on. Sometimes we can have a combination of emotions such that it would help us understand what's happening inside of us. And it can also help us understand what's happening outside of us in our social context or even in our relationships. Yeah. I'm going to stop here because I have only 9 more minutes and I need to pass the time back to 3E. The whole context of emotional intelligence is about understanding ourselves, understanding our social awareness, working through and understanding relationship management in terms of emotions, and developing or growing and keeping those relationships. And it's also about self-regulation. How do I manage myself such that I don't regret what I do? I'm actually quite proud of what I do. And just to finish off self-regulation, the metaphor is, have you ever seen the swan in the lake? At the top, the swan is so beautiful, it's so calm, it's so serene. It's like, oh, I love this swan. But if you look underneath the water, the feet are going, they're paddling away like crazy. That's the power of emotional intelligence and self-regulation. Once again, it's been a pleasure having you with me. I do hope I've been of value to you, as I've learned more, as much as I have from you. And I'm going to stop share, and I'm going to pass the time back to Nina and Ashok. Yeah.
Okay, so for all of you on the in the Zoom room, I have attached the Wheel of Emotions as a file in the chat, so you can download it from there. So please do that. All right. Before we open the floor for questions, and there's more space for questions and talk, if you don't mind, we go over a little bit. Can we take a group photo? So I'm going to again stop share. Can we get everyone's cameras on? Dorothy, Haran, Aisha, Arka, and Noor Shaza, thank you for coming. Can you have your cameras on? Please. Everyone's got their smiles on already, guys. Come on. Oh, wonderful. Hello, everyone. Arka, can I have your camera on, please? And it's a 1, 2, 3, Ritesh. All right. Can we have
Done.
done? Okay, fantastic.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
All right. So I'm going to pass the back to Ashok. Ashok, can you lead us with the Q&A?
Yeah, sure. So anyone who has any questions, you can feel free to place your questions in the chat box, or you can unmute your mic and you can ask it to Daniel. Anyone?
Anyone who has additional questions about EI, emotional intelligence? Okay. If we don't, there's more details to the program. Now, what Daniel has given today is a very brief overview. And because we had so much to talk about, not only at the workplace, from the home front, from our own personal previous employments, Module 1 is all about the what and the why of emotional intelligence. What is emotional intelligence and why does it matter? So you'll be given a self-assessment, the definitions, the benefits. You'll go over Goleman's model of emotions, which consists of 4 modules. I won't burst the little bubble of our dear Daniel on this training, on this session. So come into the training. Module 2 talks about recognizing and managing your emotions. So it talks about where you on the wheel of emotions, what are your feelings and how do you describe it? It's about self-awareness, and that's where we talk about your self-management and strategies to improve. On module 3 right here, it's about how to recognize emotions and inspiring others. So it's about being the spark, all right, to the next person. So it's about analyzing body language, speech, facial expressions, a good way of social awareness, and how do we improve that relationship management. So we go into that part that Daniel has covered. On the 4th module, it talks about the role of EI, and that's where we talk about more of our relationships at the workplace. How do we cope with our employees? How do we cope with our managers? How do we cope with the organization as a whole? And the 5th part is about your personal action, the personal EI action plan. So it's about developing a plan, putting practical steps into it, and then supporting managers and leaders, or whether it's executives, whatever level you are, to build that action plan. So basically the key takeaways are key techniques through difficult situations, mastering the effective strategies of stress. We all have stress, inspiring others, trying to be that little spark for someone, practicing empathy through application, staying motivated through a fantastic action plan, which will develop your self-awareness of strengths and limitations. Now, this program is going to be carried out on the 6th of December. It is quite a ways, but we need to book all of you in now if you're interested. It's only a 7-hour program, and it can be done by hybrid. That means whether it's face-to-face or through Zoom. So 9 a.m. to 5 a.m. Book it on your save the date on the 6th of December. The normal charges for a 7-hour, sorry, not 7-day, 7-hour program is $899. You can also do a 7-day program now. So $899. But for today, we're doing it at 600 per pax for that 7 hours. And it's only offered to those of you in the Zoom room today and FB. And Facebook Live, we had a bit of a glitch there, so we couldn't go live on YouTube. So this offer ends on the 30th of September. If you have more questions, contact Sue at 012-3494-133 or sales@3etrain.edu.asia. Do scan this code right here, ladies and gentlemen, to register. This is HRD Corp claimable. So if your company does claims or is a contributor to HRD, it comes under that. So your company doesn't even have, it's already paid, you have a contribution there, you take it out of that fund and you can use it for this program. All right, so this will be a very beneficial topic for those of you who have staff, who have employees, who want to make them dynamic. This is the session to attend on the 6th of December. All right. And so with that, I believe the link is also on the chat. So if you can't scan it, do grab the link on chat and keep it handy. Approach your HR managers and HR directors. They will know what is HRD Corp and they will know what to do. All right. Now, Ashok, with that being said, let's talk about our upcoming VIP sessions.
Okay, so these are our 2 upcoming VIP sessions. You can look at the first topic, which is the happier we are, the more we do. So our trainer for this is Mr. Chong. As you guys can see the details here, it's on a Tuesday, which is on September 26th, It's a 1 hour talk, 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. And the language is in Mandarin. Moving on to the next. The second topic is key takeaways of a successful golden entrepreneur. So the speaker for this is Dr. Venga. It's held on a Tuesday, October 10. It's a 1 hour talk to 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. And the language is English. So you can scan the QR code here to register.
So both the QRs are here on the screen, plus in the chat, we have put the links to register. The links are open already for you to register, so you can book your spot. It's the same session like you are today. It's free, and it is 8 to 9 p.m. All right. E-certificate of attendance.
So guys, so you can scan the QR code, fill in the Google form and click on submit. The e-certificate will be sent to your email within 48 hours. And a reminder, please check your inbox and spam box.
Okay, so this is e-certificate for those of you who need to prove to your employers or managers that you've come for a something related, a talk related to your field of work. You can, we give this e-certificate for free. As Ashok said, the QR code is there. We have also put it in the chat. And when you submit it, sometimes it goes to your spam box. If you don't get any certificate within the 48 hours, do contact Sue again at 012-349-4133 or sales@3etrain.edu.asia. With that, we thank Daniel Gonzaga for today. Thank you, Daniel, for your time. Thank you, Ashok, for being my co-moderator.
Thank you, Miss.
you,
Thank you,
everyone.
Daniel.
Thank you, everyone, for attending today. And we'll see you on September 26th, if you speak Mandarin, or if not, we'll see you on October 10th. Good night and bye-bye.
Thank you, guys. Bye.
Bye, everyone. Recording.